Hello, guys. It is Tuesday, January 19th. Hope you enjoyed Dr. King holiday yesterday and a day off. So let's dive into what we're going to be up to today. Today's work will revolve around deepening a skill that we started last week. If you remember at the end of last week, a couple times you practiced the idea of reading and then trying to identify or write out the claim that an author is making in a text. Well, today we're going to go a little deeper and talk about how authors develop the claim they're making in a text. So you have three things to do today that will help you meet that goal. There's some notes to review, an example student paragraph to read, and then a final assignment for you. So let me show you a brief overview of the two resources to help you, and then I'll give you some details about the assignment to complete. Firstly, here are some notes to help you understand this topic. Basically, here's the question we're trying to learn how to answer. When someone asks, what does it mean to identify how the author develops a claim? So not just what the claim is, but how is it developed in a reading? Well, here's the way I think about that. I think of it like a puzzle. Authors create a text almost like a complete puzzle. It has a meaning and it has all the parts to it. Well, when someone asks you to identify how the author develops their claim, the claim is like the end of the puzzle. It's all the pieces put together. It's the whole meaning. The development part is kind of like figuring out the pieces of the puzzle, the different things an author uses in a reading to help create their claim or develop their claim or make their statement. And when you're reading later, you might want to look for some of the pieces that the author uses. And here's some ideas that might be present in a text or might not be. It's up to you to see if they are. Authors could use any of these things to help develop a claim that they're making. And I won't go through all these right now, but for example, facts, right? Authors could use facts to prove their claim. They can use examples. You do that in writing all the time. They might use different feelings or emotions. So later you could use these notes to help you as you look for claims and how they're developed. Secondly, what I've given you is an example from a couple years ago where a student wrote a paragraph doing a very good job of analyzing how an author develops a claim. So I won't read this whole thing to you, but I'll let you review it. Basically, if you look, this author, the student author, makes a really clear case for how this article is making the claim that human trafficking is dangerous, but that people can learn warning signs to stay safe. And the student does a good job of explaining how the claim was developed. This particular student writes about how the author gives facts. That's the development piece that she writes about. If you remember the piece of the puzzle illustration, the piece of the puzzle she found was facts. This article she's writing about, she says there's lots of facts that help develop the claim. And if you read through this example, this will show you how you could possibly write about a topic like developing an author's claim. And lastly, here's what you'll do today to try out this skill. If this seems difficult, just give it a shot. It's your first time, so it won't be perfect, but none of us are perfect on the first time, and that's the good news. What I'd like you to do is choose one of the three texts we read last week. Either How Do You Define Love, How Shakespeare Invented Teenagers, or Finding Hope in the Timeless Tale of Romeo and Juliet. And then simply do this. In the text box underneath this assignment, I want you to write a well-developed paragraph explaining how did the author develop their claim in whatever text you chose. So you would write out what claim you think the author was making, which you already might have done last week, and then you'll focus on explaining how did the author develop that claim. Did they use facts or illustrations or evidence or quotes or arguments or examples, and try to explain what type of pieces were used to develop the claim. You can use that example paragraph as inspiration. You can use the notes that you have. Just do your best. And if this seems difficult, I'm going to follow up with you later in the week or next week about how these went, and we'll try to improve over time. So go ahead and get started. Do your best. Use your email or question board if you need to contact me or ask a question. I look forward to reading your brilliant writing.